We're live. What is up, YouTube? This is my first YouTube live. So I'm all good. We might have nobody here, but at least I will get this done and share with you guys what a grocery haul looks like for me nowadays. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Diane Flores. I'm an IFBB fitness and figure pro. And I just like to share things on my channel along my journey, things that are hopefully helpful to you in your health and hotness journey. Now, today, the most exciting thing I have for you on the menu is going through my grocery haul. I just finished a killer yin yoga class over at True Fusion in Las Vegas. The instructor's name was Francisco. Chef's kiss, amazing class. Feel like a brand new woman. We're ready to tackle all the things for the week. But I was playing a little bit of Russian roulette with my groceries in the house. Let me know if any of you can resonate with this. But I was playing the game of let's see how long I can go without buying groceries and really eat what I have at home. Sometimes I play this fun, weird game, and it was starting to become some strange meals over the last couple days. So I put all of these goodies into my grocery cart, and I didn't do Instacart this time. I was right next to Albertsons, and so we did the pickup, which is fantastic. It is very time efficient. If you are not scheduling your grocery pickup, girl, get it together with your life. It is so efficient. Most of the times, if you have never done it before, they will offer you some kind of discount for trying it out. So take a peek to see if your local grocery store has delivery. They have delivery or they have pickup. And then Instacart, I kind of like to use as a last resort because they charge you a ton for that. So, all right. Well, this week is the focus for me was eating less snacks. Okay. Less snacks. Now, I'm a snack monster and that's a challenge sometimes. So I decided that I wasn't going to bring any new snacks into the house, some kind of leftover random things, and not necessarily because of any kind of really like calorie situation, because, I think I've shared here before that I'm not counting macros. I don't follow a meal plan. I really eat for mainly longevity, health, wellness, how I feel, how my training is. Does it support my goals in terms of what I'm doing fitness wise? And right now I am not doing any intentional machine cardio, and I'm doing some fun stuff for my fitness alongside my weight training. So with that being said, not that you care, but now you know. If you guys are interested, you want to kind of know what my routine looks like these days, the training routine and what I'm doing, I would love to share. It might be helpful for some of you who want to find some balance with your fitness so it doesn't feel so intense. All right, moving on. What you here for? The grocery haul. All right, I'm going to move around in unpacking this and share with you essentially the different categories of the foods that I have. So macros, nutrient wise, right? Like the most important things that make up the foundation of our nutrition. So what I'm going to start with is protein. That is the most challenging for most women that we work with, is getting in enough protein. Now, through our programs, through our coaching on this YouTube, page, I really like to make an important case about having variety in your proteins and it not just being one kind of protein, right? We fall into these traps. It's easy, it's comfortable, and all we do is consume chicken breast or, ground turkey or ground chicken. And I think it's important to give yourself a variety of amino acids through your protein that you're consuming. And I prefer to actually eat my protein by way of actual foods versus drinking shakes and things like that, which I will do a shake and or a bar, usually one of those two at some point through the day, just as like an in between. But Varying your proteins, super important, gets variety. It's good for your gut microbiome. It's good in terms of, again, amino acids, giving your body exposure to different amino acids if you're interested in maintaining and building muscle, which every human really should be interested in keeping their muscle tissue as they age. So with that, I have my standard go-tos, and then I will usually kind of switch them out, right? I usually like to do a fattier fish source like salmon at some point. So if I go out to a dinner, which I have not in quite some time, that's typically what I'll do. But throughout the week here at home, these are the proteins that I typically have on hand. Let's go ahead and jump in, and that way I get you guys a full-on grocery haul video. The first thing is grass-fed Angus beef. So this is one of my faves. And this is, you'll see on the label, 93% fat. So this is not like a 99% extra lean. It is pretty lean. This is one that I like to get not entirely 90, I think it's like 96 is like the leanest you can buy in the store, but I'll get 2 packs. I got 2 packs of that. I will cook it up throughout the week and make different dishes with it. Then we have bison, also another great form of protein. So I will also have that at some point woven into my nutrition. And then I did grab a 99% lean turkey breast, ground meat. And then I also got a 93, and that was intentional. For those of you that struggle, I see some eyes here. So if you are joining in live, hello, my beautiful YouTube friends. Please say hello in the comments. I would love to know where you're watching from. Let me know. I want to meet my YouTube community. All right, these two, what I will do is, if you've ever had 99% lean turkey, y'all, it's not the most enjoyable, okay? It kind of tastes like a kitchen sponge. So the way to combat that, or one of the ways, is I like to cook both of these together. This one's got a little bit more fat, and then obviously this is leaner, and it keeps it from getting that weird, like spongy consistency. And I will cook that up, and then I kind of keep it pretty bland. And if you've been around here for a minute and you watch any of my videos or hear my podcast, I talk a lot about when you meal prep or you have proteins ready to go, just make them pretty plain. Salt, pepper, maybe like a standard seasoning, like some garlic and, onions or something like that. And then as I use it throughout the week, I will then gauge what I want to actually season it with. If I want to change it, if I want to do more of a Asian themed or an Italian or whatever, then I will just use seasonings and then whatever kind of low calorie sauces to switch up the flavor profile a little bit. Then good old fashioned chicken breast. Okay. So chicken breast like that is typically my least favorite. And it's because there's a lot of chewing involved, and I prefer to have meats that are already kind of ground up. I feel like it's better for my digestion. I don't feel so bloated. And also, I don't know about you guys, but reheated chicken breast, it's not the business, okay? So if you can toss it back in a saute pan with, a little bit of spray or something like that to like bring it back to life, it's not bad. But if you're just eating it straight out of the microwave, you're a beast, okay? So chicken breast, then we have good old fashioned egg whites. Every breakfast of mine usually includes egg whites in some way, shape, or form. And they're very versatile. So some days when do you ever just want like breakfast for dinner? Or is that just me? Let me check my comments. Oh, hi from Ontario. Hello. And thank you for being here. Miss Angie, it sounds like. Sometimes I just want breakfast for dinner. And that could mean a breakfast sandwich, which I'll make with my bread here, which we'll talk about in a second. Or I want to do like a protein pancake or something like that. Or sometimes just like eggs and turkey bacon and toast. Just sounds like a good basic ass breakfast. I don't get crazy fancy. So if you're here for fancy stuff, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Then we have eggs as well. Good source of protein. You've got a little bit of dietary fat in there as well. Okay, those are my proteins. I wanted to do a grocery haul today because I restocked pretty heavily on my proteins. So I wanted to share what a standard week of protein rotation looks like. Okay, let's move into, I think I got all the proteins. We're gonna move more into carbs, okay? Carbs, the most delicious macro, okay? The most tasty macro. Generally, we like the carbs that are highly palatable, packaged foods, things like that. Your girl's trying to be better about the snacks, all right? Because I love snacks. I just love snacks. Snacks are fun and they're just like, it feels like you're having a treat. So I have combat that, but we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, we are going to do sweet potatoes this week. So one fun way that my daughter actually taught me how to cook these, because she's in contest prep right now and she's trying to find all the fun, interesting ways to make her food not feel like prep food, which I understand wholeheartedly, is soaking your potatoes in an ice bath, like drench them in ice water in an ice bath for an hour before you cook them and then put them in the air fryer. Girl, can I just say, game freaking changer. Potatoes, I made a russet potato the other day, just like that, in the air fryer, a little bit of spray. I chopped them up in like French fry shapes, and they tasted like In-N-Out fries. Okay, listen, if you've seen my video a couple videos back where I had a sit down chat as I was eating In-N-Out, the fries, right? They're just, you have to ask for them well done. I can hear you guys already. They're soggy, Diane. Why do you like soggy fries? Because that's always the argument with In-N-Out. And it was mine for a really long time. But let me tell you, you just got to be knowing about the In-N-Out secrets. And one of them is ask for your fries well done. Okay, moving on, we got sweet potatoes. Then we have good old fashioned staple in most people's diet, which is rice. So this is just jasmine rice here. What I will do with the jasmine rice is make it pretty boring, and I will just have a container in the fridge. And then the other thing that I've been doing, I've actually done twice now, which is quite delicious, is I made this thing called a chicken bake. Now, if this is a thing and I was just like the last one to get the memo, sorry, but I'm the last one to get the memo. And I made this chicken bake, and let me tell you, it was so good. And it was the easiest thing. And that's probably what I'm going to do with these chicken breast tenders is I think it's 1 cup of rice. Don't quote me. You might want to Google that or Pinterest that. But 1 cup of rice at the bottom of like a 13x9 pan. I believe it's 1 cup of broth, chicken broth, tomatoes, onions, and you basically lay your chicken inside that mixture, and then you put it in the oven to take a nap for like 40 minutes. And then it comes out and girl is like refreshed and ready to be eaten. And it's amazing. Like I did it in my cast iron pan because the first time I had my parents here, and I ran out of pans. I didn't have another 13x9. I made them chicken thighs, and then I made chicken breast. Well, in the cast iron, game changer. Like it gives it this yummy little bit of a crisp. So you got to try it out. Okay. Next carb that I'm going to bring in. I have not had quinoa in a hot minute. So we are going to experiment with this tricolor quinoa this week. I wanted to mix it up because again, I've been sticking to rice or potatoes, and I wanted to bring in something else into the picture, experiment with different macro nutrients, micronutrients, flavor profiles, things like that. So we have that. So those are going to be some main sources of carbs. Then we have bread. Okay. A lot of people think like, oh, I can't eat bread. Bread makes me fat. And listen, if you are sensitive to gluten, all those things, sure. Like that's a thing. However, these are sprouted grain breads. They are not highly processed. And I've been eating these for years. I eat them on contest prep, and it's not a gluten-free bread. However, this sits so much better digestively for me than a gluten-free bread. So this is Ezekiel Food for Life. They're upside down and go like this. And let me just tell you that this cinnamon one, you guys, I look like trash right now. I don't have any makeup on. I hope you still love me. This cinnamon raisin one, let me just tell you, with a little bit of grass-fed butter and a little sprinkle of Himalayan pink salt. Transports your mind to another location. It's amazing. So I will do this in the morning with some eggs. I don't really do anything crazy fancy with my eggs. I don't throw a lot of veggies and stuff in them. I actually didn't do much in terms of veggies in this haul, and that's embarrassing. So just know your girl drinks her greens every single day like religion. The sesame one, this is a great one if I want to do a breakfast sandwich, but honestly, a breakfast sandwich on the cinnamon bread is, let me tell you, it's a moment. Okay, other carbs are going to be fruit, right? So I got a couple different versions of apples. I got some Pink Lady, and I believe the other ones here are, I don't know, Honey Crispy. These are amazing. So I love snacks, okay? And snacks are the culprit for most people's going off track with their nutrition. And it wasn't so much that I was concerned about that for myself, because I'm very content with my body shape. It's more or less the energy piece of things and how I'm actually feeling. Like, I'm very in tune with how I'm feeling when I wake up. You know, is my body achy? Is it tired? Do I have inflammation? How's my gut? Like, am I bloated? And I'm very aware of what I eat causing that because of the years of bodybuilding and having to be pretty strict with my foods. So all that to say, I know the snacks were just not making me feel the greatest. And I was just like, okay, I need to cut back. So fruit. And this is always what I wanted to like punch people in the face when they would be like, oh, if you just need to have a piece of fruit if you have a sweet tooth. And I'm like, okay, Susan, that does not work for me. And so I always have a backup of chocolate. Okay. So we've got fruit. This is carbs. And this is also what I'll do is if I'm having a sweet tooth, is I will usually take an apple, I will cut it up, and I will have it with some almond butter, or I will have it with some nuts. And usually the fiber in the apple and the fiber and the fats in the nuts will help keep me satiated for a little bit, and also some water or some tea or whatever. And then I'm not trying to like, the second you start eating snacks, y'all, it's over. It's just like, it's the gateway drug. Then you just want more snacks. So I just try not to do don't do drugs, don't do snacks. It's just fine. So I did buy this. This is going to fall more into the category of fats. So this is like a fancy, not fancy, but fancy, healthier, I don't even like to say that, chocolate. And the reason why is no refined sugar, no cane sugar, no sugar alcohols, which is super important, no erythritol, soy, palm oil, lecithins, emulsifiers. Probably not a lot of fun either. However, they didn't put that on here. I'm just assuming, but we're going to try that out. I feel like I have actually tried this before and it actually was not bad. I don't mind weird dark chocolates because it just kind of does a thing. So, and it's actually good for you. Okay, I got all of the fruit carbs out of the way. Let's talk about beans. Black beans, a lot of people think, oh yeah, I eat, I get in a lot of protein, or I'm a vegetarian or I'm a vegan and I eat lots of beans and things of that nature. And beans are more of a crossover food, meaning they have two macronutrients in them. They have carbs and they have protein. So this is not technically considered protein because of the ratio of carbs to protein. This is going to fall more into the category of carbohydrates. Okay. Fiber as well. So this is also great if you struggle with feeling full, you are hungry real soon after you eat, or you might be dieting and you maybe track macros. I would try to fit something like black beans into your diet, or beans in general. And that does help with the satiation factor because there is that fiber and the fullness there. So those will be the carbs. Okay. Where are we at? We are now going to move on to fats. Now, fats, there are going to be trace fats in these foods, right? So like the meats, they're not 100% fat-free, but they are primarily protein. So they fall in the protein category with trace fats. Then I like to add intentional fats in. Now, this is something that's very different than my bodybuilding days, because in bodybuilding, most of the time when you are trying to get lean, Most of the time we pull lots of dietary fats out, at least for some long period of time. And then you're usually surviving on protein and some minimal carbs and the lowest amount of fats possible for health. And this is how I coach my athletes and how we, essentially our philosophy. Now, there are some unicorns that come along for contest prep, and they do better with a higher fat diet and almost like a keto approach. Now, I don't want anybody to take that and run with it and tell people I said that bodybuilders get shredded doing keto. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that some unicorns are magically set up to have a higher fat need and actually prefer, just because of fat loss, that we keep carbs low. And that is something that I've seen before. Again, I've been coaching women for 11 years for contest prep. And I will say that I have seen that case in terms of a client needing a higher fat diet for bodybuilding, in my experience, 3 times. And we have served probably over 100 women for contest prep, at least by this point. So anyhow, that was tangenty, but welcome to my channel. We are eating more fat these days. And the reason why is because it is essential for a lot of our bodily functions, our brain function, our hormones, lots of things. But where we get it wrong oftentimes is that we overconsume because we think it's healthy, right? That is called the halo effect of foods. Because you buy something at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or a health food store, you just feel like you can eat whatever is in that store because it's the healthy store. It's not. Okay, we're just going to clear that up right now. You can get fat eating almonds. You can gain fat eating nuts, trail mix. We see it all the time. Granola, things that people think are healthy. It's the overconsumption of them that starts to cause problems. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. This is what I'm working in this week because I have been finding personally that the higher I have fats in my diet, as of probably the last 6 months, the better I feel, the better my brain, my sharpness, my acuity, my joints, and overall, I'm also attributing a lot of my lack of cravings and food focus and overeating and things like that. Not that that's something I struggle with tremendously, but it comes and goes. I find that when I'm consuming more fat through the day, I don't feel that ravenous at nighttime situation where I just want to eat the entire pantry, right? So macadamia nuts, these ones are great, super yummy, sea salt moment, delicious. Then walnuts are actually incredible for your brain as well. That's why they're shaped like little brains, if you didn't notice. But walnuts are fantastic as well. And then just whole plain almonds. Now, sometimes, let's be real, I will just go grab some out of the pantry if I'm feeling snackish, and then I will grab a protein shake. I'll shake one up, and that's just kind of like in between breakfast and lunch. If I'm feeling like I need something in between lunch and dinner, then I'll have something. If I'm training that day, I will make sure that I have some carbs along with that too. So my approach to nutrition, and what I try to at least impart on most of you, rather than doing things incredibly hardcore, is being a little more intuitive with your approach when it comes to what am I doing today, right? Am I going to do an intense leg day? Am I going to do an intense glute day? Or is it just going to be a yin Vin yoga class like I did today? Today, I'm keeping it more of a low key. And so I'm not going to need to consume a ton of carbohydrates. Probably not going to need a ton of food in general. So I kind of go by what my appetite is steering me towards in terms of how much, how hungry am I? And some days that's not the case, right? If you did a very hard leg day the day before, or an intense gym session, or you were up for a long time, lots of hours, the next day you are going to suffer the consequences of that. And part of that is you might be more hungry. And that is your body telling you, bitch, we need to recover. So can you please give us some nutrients? And if you don't listen, then the issues become worse when it comes to your recovery and your soreness and making some of the food issues worse. So listen to your body is what I'm trying to say. All right, we got avocados, good old fashioned avocado. I'll typically do half of an avocado a day, probably with dinner. And that's usually a nice way to keep dinner, you know, the dinner feeling nice and full and not feeling like I need a ton of, you know, anything else really after that. Okay, then we have edamame pods. Okay, I wanted to make sure they weren't shelled. So edamame, who loves these when they go to sushi, right? But we don't think too often about bringing them home and having them at home. Well, these are actually a really great snack. And again, high in protein. However, they are also very moderate in fat. So that is one thing you need to consider when you consider using this as a snack, because I will, again, have vegetarians and vegans that we've coached before. And some of the ways that we get them to increase their protein is by indeed having edamame, black beans, some of these crossover macronutrients. But we also have to keep an eye on the dietary fats if weight loss or staying, you know, lean and or maintaining what they have is their goal. So these are great, real quick, honestly, in the microwave with a little bit of the sea salt, and I will just munch on those again, sometimes between dinner, lunch and dinner. And then I just have some extras, which are kind of like my fun little things. Might not be super fun for you guys, but lemons, I will use these for just honestly reheating a lot of my proteins. So when I work from home and I want to have lunch, I will toss everything in a saute pan, squeeze some lemon juice, and then add whatever, you know, extra fun seasonings and things I want to. Okay, your girl has to have 1 cup of coffee every day. So we got the Nespresso. This is what we're doing. And then this is right now, this is my go-to when it comes to creamer, which is this, oh, can you see? Oatly vanilla oat milk. And then you guys, these guys need to sponsor me already. I'm just saying, we need to get Athletic Brewing all up in the house and be like the boss bitch official sponsor so my people can get like coupons or something, because I'm trying to get women to stop drinking so much alcohol. And I know the assumption is that not a lot of women drink beer, but I'm going to tell you, I love me some IPA. And I was on a girls trip with a couple other girls that are in the fitness industry. And one of them told me about this brand of non-alcoholic beers. And I, since that trip, have had one probably almost every night with my dinner. And it's just great. Like if you love beer, it's just a nice little, put a frosty mug in the freezer. And honestly, I realized like I actually just enjoy the taste of it and I don't need the alcohol buzz. In fact, if we go out to dinner, most of the time I'm not particularly interested in drinking, not even one drink really, because I'm like, what am I gonna drink one drink for? Like if I'm gonna drink, I probably want to like feel a little bit like woohoo, and one drink is like barely getting me there. Well, although I'm probably a cheap date now, but I will generally opt for something non-alcoholic. And one of those choices for me is Athletic Brewing, and I absolutely love it and adore it. It's delicious. So that's it. That is the grocery haul today, and it is a beautiful Saturday. I hope you guys are doing your due diligence for making sure that you are taking care on top of my hands. Okay, it just happens here. Taking care of your meat suit. Okay, this meat suit that you wear around all day, it's the only one you got. And I know that a lot of this stuff is not fun. It's like, I don't want to do that. I hate that. I hate cooking. I hate chopping. I hate this. There are ways around it when it comes to that part of it, the annoyance of having to like put this stuff together and actually cook it. One way around it that I suggest is one way that I taught my youngest son how to actually eat like this is I would pay him for his chores. Well, I had a spreadsheet. Let me just be honest. Okay. We had a spreadsheet, we meaning me. And there were a row of things that he needed to do. And every time he did them, he would check off a box. Some of the things on his list would earn him more chore money than others. And one of those things was making meal prep for mom, because I was running a business and I was homeschooling him and so I brought him into the kitchen. I was patient and I taught him how I like my things done. Did he get it right all the time? No, but I would course correct him. He would fix it and we figured it out. So if you have kids who are, able to be in the kitchen and you can relinquish some control, because let me tell you, girl's a control freak, then that is huge, not only for you to help save time and make your lifestyle more efficient, but my son had a massive transformation in his health. And he attributes a lot of it to his beginning stages of having to understand about food and how I taught him and those things, because he was, when you have children, it's one of those things. I'm not trying to give my children any kind of complex or make them feel like I don't love them in their current shape, no matter what that is. Absolutely not. However, my concern as a parent is their health, wellness, and longevity. And part of that is we have to, with gentle, loving pressure, make sure our children know that some of the things that they're doing isn't in the best interest for them in the long run, right? I don't use words like, it's going to make you fat. Why are you eating that? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody likes to hear that. We aren't nagging like that. We don't do that in this family. It is a matter of teaching them, okay? My son would have nothing to do with any of this when he started. Nothing. The boy was a chicken nugget French fry kid, and he was honestly nearing 300 pounds at one point. Now he's tall, he's 6'4". However, the concern was this is getting a little bit out of hand. He was getting way too sedentary. He was getting comfortable playing video games. He was homeschooled, so he wasn't in sports and things like that. And I didn't have just junk food hanging out and around, but he would go, out to his dad's and whatnot. And so there's just so much that I could control. Nonetheless, brought him in the kitchen. I taught him how to meal prep. And I did not ever say, you need to eat this. What I said was, here's how I would like this cooked. If you can just taste it and see how it tastes, if it needs salt, if it needs whatever. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Just call me. I will come taste it. I put the ball in his court. And he had control. And so because he had control and I wasn't trying to force it down his neck, he started to really enjoy the things that he was cooking. And so he had fun with it, and he started, trying out different things for me, and he would prep everything, and it was amazing. I miss it. I miss Tyson. But nonetheless, I just eventually started ordering pretty much double, and he would make big batches, and then he started eating my foods, and it was great. I love that. And I was not upset about that at all. It was wonderful, and it was the best thing, and it has absolutely changed his life, okay? If you could see pictures of him when he was 15 and the metamorphosis over, a year of just focusing on eating the foods like I wrote him a meal plan. In fact, I found it the other day. It was so funny. He came to me and asked me, he's like, Mom, see what you're eating. And I know you follow a structure. Can you write me a meal plan? So I sat down. I'm like, okay, what do you like eating? We talked about it. Okay, great. I made him a meal plan, put it on the fridge, and he followed that like religion. Okay. The kid lost so much weight, and it boosted his confidence, and he started getting in the gym by himself. I used to have to drag him to the gym. And every time, you can ask his sister, be like, how many exercises do we have? How much time do we have left? And I was like, you're just going to do it. And it would annoy me 90% of the time, but I knew it was for a greater good. It was an investment, and it paid off. And so now this is just his norm. So that was my soapbox moment for the day, my sermon. Let's see, Roseville, California. Hello, it's Get Fit asks, when you up your fat intake, do you lower your carbs? Have you ever created a high protein, moderate fat, very low carb meal plan for somebody looking to lean out? Yes. So the way that I approach this, and we approach this as coaches in terms of your macro split, is if you're not competing, I just really care that you have enough fuel and carbohydrates around your training. So if you're training, that's the key thing, is we want to build your food around that session, right? And I think what happens is a lot of time we get lost in the sauce about like, well, I just want to lose weight. I just want to lose weight. Great. I support that. I understand that. And also we want to focus on keeping your muscle, because the more muscle you have and also building muscle is going to be better off long-term, right? You're going to stay leaner overall. You'll be able to eat more food. You just become more metabolically healthy that way with the more muscle that you carry. So as long as we're supporting your training with your carbohydrates, I don't really care what your ratio looks like with your fat and your carbs, because at the end of the day, what's going to dictate fat loss is going to be the calories. It's not going to be necessarily the macro split, right? So while we want to keep your protein nice and high, the carbs and the fat can kind of be flexed. And oftentimes girls get so regimented in thinking like, oh, like I got to hit each number perfectly and my carb number needs to be exact, and they freak out and it's this whole thing. And what I just like to assure you is, if you're not competing, that is not something that you need to get overly obsessive about. If you just want to bring down your body fat, bring down your body weight, whatever, make sure you're staying within the calorie range and let your carbs and your fat play a role around your training and your energy levels. So it is absolutely doable, my friend. You can do that. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, well, I need to put this protein in the fridge before it causes me some kind of digestive issue for sitting out too long. You know what I mean? You say the same, no same. So I'm going to put this stuff away, and you guys have a beautiful day. If you enjoy videos like this, you would like to see more, you enjoy the grocery hauls, you want maybe a different perspective, maybe like what I'm cooking with these things, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And I'm here. I'm your humble servant. Tell me what you need. All right. I love you. YouTube, you have a great day.